Hello and welcome to Meandmygolf TV. We're Piers and Andy. It's the Impact Show. Andy, what's going on today?
Right, we're kicking this week off with the 3 biggest myths we see with the driver. Let's take charge of your game.
So we hope you've had a fantastic weekend. Hope the golf is going well. Let us know how you are doing this season. Post your comments down below on that. Now, speaking of comments, Andy, lots and lots of great comments and questions for the Impact Show. So what we've done today is we're getting some similar questions, so we thought let's actually push them all together and put them into one video if we can. So today we're going to talk about the 3 biggest myths that we see every day with the driver. So we're on the 16th tee at the Asprey. Pretty good driving hole.
It's a tough one, this is Piers. Dogleg left round the corner.
It sure is, it sure is. And we see these myths, Andy, and a lot of people, their concepts are off and that causes them to have, problems when they're hitting drives consistently. So let's go with myth number 1 first of all. What have we got? Okay,
the low and the wide backswing. Now, I suppose we tend to hear the same things. Your playing partners get told the same things, and over the years, information gets passed around.
Yeah.
And let's talk about this low wide backswing, because this is what some people tend to focus on with the driver if they, let's say, want to get some distance. And maybe people have been told in the past that to get this distance, you need to swing the club away and have this sort of wide arc with the club head in order to generate some speed. But the problem is with this, people misunderstand what width is, but also just thinking this leads to causing the mistakes, and that's what we're really going to talk about today, how that thought process influences the golf swing.
So we do want width, of course we do,
yes.
but just show a few problems that can happen when we go low and wide.
So low and wide, so let's just show you here. So this low and wide then is basically, we see that as people do this low and wide swing, they're trying to keep the club head wide and low on the way back, and it often pulls the upper body away. But notice my arms here, my right arm is really straight, but from here there's no wrist set, okay? Because the effort, I'm trying to keep it low and wide, I haven't got a good sequence. I've overturned the shoulders. Now from here, the only real way I'm going to get up to the top of the golf swing is to sort of maybe collapse the arms, lose the sequence, and from here, the efficiency of how you're going to strike the golf ball suffers because the backswing isn't in sequence. You haven't got that synchronization with the arms and the body.
And you can get away with doing that if you're extremely flexible, but how many people do we teach who are flexible enough? It doesn't really happen, does it?
Yeah.
Another one that I see as well is the handle gets very high as well. That handle gets up in the air like so, even though they're thinking low and wide, and as you said, it causes all sorts of sequence issues on the way back.
So the biggest problem with that is that there's no set, okay? The club head really isn't moving fast enough to sort of catch up with the arms and the body. We're not creating the set in the wrists. Now we want width, Pierce, but not necessarily with the club head. We want to get the width with the arms at the top of the golf swing here, but we want a well-timed backswing sequence.
So it's sort of the butt end of the club is what we want to width. Okay, so let's give us a drill then. Let's get people sequencing and still having a wide backswing.
So we want this sort of wide backswing with the arm, but we want to create a set. So we're going to get you to take hold of your golf club with your right hand. We're going to set the club up and we're just going to bend the right arm, okay? You're going to hold onto your right arm like so, and now you're going to have this wind up on the way back. Now you can see already I've created this set.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to wind up to the top. I've sort of maintained this sort of angle that I've created at the top of the golf swing here. I've created a good turn. If I put my left hand on now, I've got this width with my arms, not
efficient width.
Definitely an efficient width. But key thing, I've created the set. I've turned and maintained that angle. This is what we want from width, the butt end of the club being away, not the club head.
Do that again for me, Andy. It's interesting that we can see this right arm when he does the drill, he is not jamming it into his body, it's still away from the body, he's just sort of controlling it so he can get that set. Okay, perfect. Hit me a shot, please. That was really good.
So
Sergio was doing this at the US Open, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
You know what?
Practice swing, feeling that same feeling at the top. I've got plenty of width there, but as you see, that set is still in there. Let's give it a go on the 16th here.
Pretty good, a little bit push, but a good strike. Good distance. Right, okay, let's get into myth number 2, shall we?
Okay, so myth number 2 is all about the head. We hear this so often. Playing partners tend to tell you this. Keep your head down, keep your head still. Pierce, we know this one doesn't necessarily help you. Explain, please.
I've never seen anybody benefit from keeping their head still or down, unless they're putting. So, look, people, when you hit a bad shot, people see the head move and they think it was because the head moved, that was what's causing the bad shot. So when we don't move the head, this is what my backswing is going to look like. That's me not moving my head. Very difficult to get much more than that. When I swing through, my swing is going to look a little bit more like this. Now we know that you can get some images of Tiger Woods when he's striking the golf ball and his head is like this when he's hitting it, but he is not thinking about it, keeping his head still or down, and he's very good at disassociating his body. He's very flexible, disassociating his body from his neck, okay? A lot of people can't do that very well. So we want to look at some good players. Dustin Johnson in the backswing, just won the US Open. You look at the bill on his cap, when he swings back, that cap turns away from the target, okay? So it's allowed to move your head. Best ball striker in the game, you're allowed to move your head to the side on the way back. The drills for the downswing that we do a lot with people is the Annika or the Henrik, which is literally when you are striking the golf ball, Annika Sorenstam, Henrik Stenson, their bill on their cap or visor will be looking past the golf ball. So they actually rotate their head through the ball. I remember seeing some tests once before how the average Tour Pro head rotates a lot more through the ball than the amateur golfer. Makes total sense. So we actually encourage people to do something we call the Henrik or the Annika, or follow the flight. So actually when you're hitting the golf ball, actually feel as though the head is actually moving a little bit early. It frees up the body, it allows the body to move.
Definitely, and do you know what, just thinking this, you're not going to be at impact and you're not going to be here. Your head will actually still be looking down, but the feeling will allow the body, and this is the key thing,
Freedom.
How the head influences what the body does, and just by maybe allowing the head to be a little bit freer, the body can move, and you're going to get much more power, much more consistency in that direction as well, Piers.
Should we hit one now? We're getting that feeling of getting
Some
that head
freedom
moving.
here.
I'm going to call this one the Henrik. He hits it well. Here we go. And that one is a Henrik Stenson drive.
And you can just see how Piers finished there, nice and cleared through, head followed the flight of the ball. I think we need to get to myth number 3.
Right then, Andy, myth number 3, what have we got?
Okay, so this one is maybe some for the beginners out there, but it's interesting to see that actually it's not only the beginners, people who've been playing golf a long time still think of this, and they think that, you know, in order to hit the golf ball straight, you need to swing the golf club back and through in a straight line. And time again I hear people say, well, I'm just not swinging the golf club straight enough. Okay, now we're standing to the side of the golf ball, the club is on this inclined plane, it's on an angle, so what happens is that as we swing away, the club actually moves on this upward arc in from the target line. Okay, it then moves back down on this arc to the golf ball, and then from here on the way through it again moves up and in from the target line. So you can see this arc here. If you can create a good arc on the way back and on the way down, you've got so much better chance of actually hitting the golf ball straight. Straight back and straight through will not allow you to hit the golf ball straight.
Do you know what? It's one of the biggest causes we see of the slice, and it's just down to a pure concept. And as you said, 20 years some people have been playing golf and they think they should be doing this. So imagine if they'd have been told what Andy just told you now at the beginning, maybe their golf would have been better.
Do you know, and take a look at the club face as well. As we do this, the club face opens, it comes back to a square position where it points to the target, and then on the way through it closes in relation to that target line. So allowing the club to open and close on that arc is really key as well.
Okay, so we've got a drill for this to help
we
people
have got
out?
a drill, yeah, definitely. So a great guide for us is that if I take my setup here, now as I swing the club back on this upward arc, as it swings back and gets to parallel, we want the club to be parallel to the target line. So as it gets to parallel to the ground, parallel to the target line is a great checkpoint. If I try and swing it straight back, we'll see by the time the club is parallel to the ground, it's nowhere near parallel to the target line. So this is what we'd see generally a slicer do, but if we can get it a little bit more what we call on plane at this point, you've got a much better chance of hitting some straighter shots.
And I think that's exactly right. It's about doing something which is the most consistent. If you've got a club head, as you saw there, which feels to you as though it's going back straight and moving back straight, you can see that actually that's going to be very difficult. You've got to make some big adjustments in your downswing then to hit the golf ball. Right, okay, Andy, with that said, let's see if you can hit a fairway.
No problem. Little rehearsal here of that backswing on that arc.
You're pretty good at this, to be fair. Yours is pretty close to this normally. Can't believe I've just given you a compliment. You hit a good shot
draw down there. That one's way down there.
But I'm not going to compliment you anymore on that. Okay, guys, look, hope you enjoyed that. Look, there may well be one of those three, maybe all three of those myths that you have tried at some point or you are doing currently. Really think about what you're doing with this. Understand, hopefully, the concepts that we've just said there. Post any questions you have down below. Are there any other myths that you think that you may be doing with the driver that sort of maybe opened your mind to this? And as always, guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It is for free.
Definitely. And make sure you check out meandmygolf.com for lots more great videos. And we'll see you next week for the Impact Show.
Thanks for watching.